Hello there and welcome back. Tonight we're going to explore something truly remarkable, something that lives inside you right now, working every single second, even as you rest your head and close your eyes. We're talking about the subconscious mind, that vast and mysterious part of yourself that never sleeps, never stops, and holds more power than you might ever imagine. Think about this for a moment. Right now, as you listen to these words, your heart is beating without you telling it to. Your lungs are breathing without you remembering to inhale. Your body is balanced, your temperature is steady, and a million tiny processes are happening inside you, all managed by something you never have to think about. That is your subconscious at work. It is the invisible pilot guiding you through life, making decisions before you even know a choice exists, protecting you from dangers you never consciously see. Scientists believe that only about 5% of what your brain does ever reaches your awareness. The other 95% happens in the shadows, in the quiet halls of your subconscious mind. It remembers things you have forgotten. It notices details your eyes skip over. It shapes your feelings, your habits, your dreams, and even the way you see yourself. In many ways, the subconscious is the true author of your story, writing chapters you never knew existed. If you find value in these calm journeys we take together, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. It helps others discover this space too, one peaceful soul at a time. But there is no pressure. You are here now, and that is enough. So settle in. Let the weight of the day fall away. Let your breathing slow and your shoulders drop. We are about to begin a journey into the most fascinating place in the universe, the hidden landscape of your own mind. Close your eyes if you wish, or keep them softly open. Either way, let yourself be carried. Let us explore together. Let us begin. Fact 1. Most of your brain works in the shadows. Your brain is one of the most complex things in the known universe, and yet most of what it does remains completely hidden from you. Scientists have discovered that only about 5% of your mental activity ever reaches your conscious awareness. That means the vast majority, roughly 95%, operates entirely below the surface in what we call the subconscious mind. This hidden realm is not lazy or passive. It is incredibly busy, managing thousands of tasks every moment. It controls your heartbeat and your breathing. It keeps your body balanced when you walk. It processes the sights and sounds around you, deciding what deserves your attention and what can be ignored. It files away memories, connects ideas, and even prepares decisions before you realize a choice is being made. To imagine that nearly everything you are happens in this invisible place is both humbling and beautiful. It means the part of you that worries, plans, and reads these words is just a tiny window into a much larger system. Beneath that window lies an ocean of activity, currents of thought and instinct flowing constantly, steering you through the world with quiet wisdom. The subconscious is like the roots of a tree. You see the branches above ground, the leaves and the fruit, but underground the roots spread wide and deep, drawing nourishment and holding everything steady. Your conscious mind is the visible part, but your subconscious is the foundation, the power, the silent force that makes everything else possible. Fact 2. Your subconscious decides before you know it. Have you ever made a choice that felt instant, like you just knew what to do? It turns out that your subconscious might have already decided for you, seconds before your conscious mind even realized there was a decision to make. Researchers have studied this using brain scans, and what they found is remarkable. When people are asked to make a simple choice, like pressing a button, patterns of activity appear in the brain several seconds before the person reports feeling like they decided. In other words, the subconscious starts preparing the decision long before awareness catches up. This does not mean you have no free will. It just means that the process of choosing is more complex than it feels. Your subconscious gathers clues from your memories, your emotions, your past experiences, and even your current surroundings. It weighs these factors silently and quickly, then delivers a result that feels like your own instant decision. The conscious mind is more like a narrator, announcing choices that were already set into motion below the surface. It is like watching a movie and thinking you are directing it, when really the film was shot long before you arrived. This reveals something profound about how we experience life. So much of what feels immediate and personal is actually the product of deep, invisible work. The The subconscious is always a few steps ahead, quietly shaping your path while the conscious mind follows behind, telling the story of what just happened. Fact 3. The subconscious never takes a break. Even when you're fast asleep dreaming of distant places or lost in the dark silence of deep rest, your subconscious continues working without pause. It never clocks out. It never takes a vacation. While your conscious mind powers down for the night, your subconscious shifts into a different kind of labor. It monitors your surroundings, staying alert for any sign of danger. A sudden noise, a change in temperature, or an unusual movement can wake you instantly, because your subconscious is always on guard. But it does more than just watch over you. During sleep, the subconscious organizes the experiences of your day. It sorts through memories, deciding which ones to keep and which ones to let fade. It strengthens the skills you practiced, replaying movements and patterns so they become easier tomorrow. It even regulates your body, adjusting your heart rate, your breathing, and your temperature to keep everything balanced. Dreams themselves are a product of this nighttime activity. They emerge from the subconscious as it processes emotions, rehearses scenarios, and explores ideas in symbolic form. Some dreams help you work through stress or fear. Others seem random but may be connecting fragments of memory in ways that will later spark insight. Sleep is not a shutdown. It is a shift in responsibility. The conscious mind steps aside and the subconscious takes the night shift, ensuring that survival, memory, and balance continue without interruption. When you wake each morning feeling refreshed, it is partly because your subconscious spent the night maintaining and repairing, working tirelessly so you can face a new day. Fact 4. Habits live in the subconscious. Think about all the things you do each day without thinking. Brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, driving a familiar route, reaching for your phone when you hear a notification. These actions flow smoothly because they have been transferred from conscious effort into subconscious routine. When you first learned to tie your shoes, it required intense focus. Your fingers fumbled, and you had to think about every loop and pull. But after enough repetitions, the pattern became automatic. Your subconscious took over, storing the sequence so deeply that now your hands can do it while your mind wanders somewhere else entirely. This transfer is incredibly useful. It frees up your conscious mind to focus on new challenges, solve problems, and think creatively. But it also means that habits, whether helpful or harmful, become difficult to change. The subconscious does not judge whether a habit is good or bad. It simply follows the grooves carved by repetition. If you bite your nails when nervous, check your phone constantly, or reach for snacks when bored, those patterns are written into your subconscious through repeated behavior. Breaking an old habit requires creating a new pattern strong enough to override the old one. This takes time, patience, and consistent effort. But the same system that resists change is also what makes growth possible. By rehearsing new routines again and again, you can reshape your subconscious, teaching it a better way. Every daily ritual you perform, from morning coffee to evening walks, is evidence of your subconscious quietly scripting behavior behind the scenes, holding the patterns that make you who you are. Fact 5. Millions of signals processed. Every second right now, as you rest and listen, your senses are gathering an overwhelming flood of information. Light is hitting your eyes, sounds are entering your ears, your skin is feeling the texture of fabric or the temperature of the air, and your body is sensing its own position in space. All of this data is pouring into your brain every single second. But here is the remarkable thing. Your conscious mind is only aware of a tiny fraction of it. You might notice a few dozen sensations at most. The sound of these words, the feeling of your pillow, perhaps a distant hum in the background. Yet beneath that narrow beam of attention, your subconscious is processing millions of signals simultaneously. It is tracking movement at the edges of your vision, filtering background noise, monitoring your balance, adjusting your posture, regulating your temperature, and checking for pain or discomfort. All of this happens invisibly while your conscious awareness focuses on just one or two things. Imagine standing in a crowded place. Voices overlap, footsteps echo, lights flash, and people move in every direction. You hear only the conversation you are focused on, but your subconscious is quietly registering nearly everything else. If something important happens, like someone calling your name or a sudden movement nearby, the subconscious immediately pushes it into your awareness. Consciousness is like a narrow spotlight on a stage, illuminating just one actor at a time, but the subconscious is the entire stage crew, working behind the curtain, adjusting lights, moving props, and keeping the whole production running smoothly without ever stepping into view or expecting applause. Fact 6. Early childhood shapes the subconscious. Forever. The earliest years of life leave marks on the subconscious that can last a lifetime. During infancy and early childhood, the brain is forming connections at an astonishing rate, faster than at any other time in life. Every experience, whether comforting or frightening, is being encoded into patterns that will influence future behavior, emotions, and relationships. A baby who is soothed when crying learns that the world is a safe place and that help comes when needed. This sense of trust becomes woven into the subconscious, shaping how that person relates to others for years to come. On the other hand, a child who experiences neglect or inconsistency may develop a deep-seated anxiety that surfaces in adulthood without clear explanation. These early imprints are called implicit memories. They are not stored as clear recollections that you can describe in words. Most people cannot consciously remember being an infant or a toddler. But the feelings, the sensations, and the patterns are still there, written into the architecture of the subconscious mind. Psychologists often describe these as emotional blueprints. They guide how you respond to stress, how you bond with others, how you interpret safety and danger. A person might feel inexplicably uneasy in certain situations or unusually calm in others, and the reason often traces back to experiences too early to remember consciously. The subconscious becomes a kind of silent diary of your earliest days, filled with pages you can never read, but that still influence the story of who you are and how you move through the world. Fact 7. Threats are detected faster than thought. Your survival has always depended on speed, and evolution has given you a remarkable system for detecting danger before your conscious mind can even process what is happening. When something in your environment suddenly shifts, a shadow moves unexpectedly, a shape resembles something threatening, or a sound breaks the silence, your subconscious reacts almost instantly. Muscles tense, your heart rate spikes, adrenaline floods your system, and your body prepares to fight or flee. All of this occurs before your conscious mind has time to analyze the situation and decide what to do. This lightning-fast response comes from specialized circuits in the brain that are dedicated entirely to threat detection. These circuits evolved over millions of years, honed by the constant pressure of survival in dangerous environments. For early humans, hesitation could mean death. A split-second delay in reacting to a predator or an enemy could be fatal. So the brain developed a shortcut, a way to respond to potential threats without waiting for slow, deliberate thought. Sometimes this system makes mistakes. You might jump at a stick that looks like a snake, or feel a surge of fear from a shadow that turns out to be harmless. But the cost of these false alarms is far lower than the cost of being too slow when danger is real. The subconscious prioritizes safety over accuracy. It would rather overreact 100 times than fail to react once when it truly matters. In this way, the subconscious acts as your ancient guardian, a system trained by countless generations to protect you faster than awareness ever could. Fact 8. Creative insights come from hidden connections. Some of the greatest ideas in history seem to appear out of nowhere. A scientist wakes up with the solution to a problem that had stumped them for months. A musician dreams a melody that becomes a masterpiece. A writer finds the perfect ending while walking through a park. These moments feel magical, but they are actually the result of subconscious processing. While your conscious mind struggles with the challenge, working through it step by step, your subconscious continues exploring in the background. It draws from your memories, your past experiences, your emotions, and everything you have ever learned. It weaves connections between ideas that seem unrelated, testing combinations and patterns that your conscious mind might dismiss as impossible. When the hidden work is complete, when the pieces finally fit together in a new and surprising way, the answer bursts into your awareness as sudden inspiration. Psychologists call this incubation, the period when stepping away from a problem allows the subconscious to keep working silently. This is why taking a break, going for a walk, or even sleeping on a difficult question can be so effective. You're not giving up. You're giving your subconscious room to explore without the interference of conscious effort. Artists, inventors, and thinkers throughout history have relied on this process, trusting that if they load their minds with the right questions and then step back, the answers will eventually rise to the surface. Creativity is often the conscious mind finally listening to what the subconscious has been quietly building all along. Fact 9. Subliminal messages. Reach the subconscious. Not everything that influences you is strong enough to break into conscious awareness. Some signals are so faint, so brief, or so subtle that you never consciously notice them at all. An image flashed on a screen for just a fraction of a second. A word spoken too quietly to register. A faint scent drifting past on the breeze. These subliminal cues slip beneath the radar of conscious attention, but they do not go unnoticed. The subconscious detects them, and they can subtly shape your mood, your preferences, and even your behavior. Experiments have shown that these hidden inputs can nudge people in surprising ways. A barely visible image might make someone feel slightly more relaxed or alert. A background sound too quiet to hear consciously might influence how quickly someone responds to a question. A scent so faint it seems absent might trigger a craving or a memory without any clear explanation. The effects are usually small. Subliminal messages are not powerful enough to control your actions or force you to do something against your will. But they are real, and they reveal just how much the subconscious absorbs outside your awareness. Life is filled with these hidden inputs, threading through every moment like invisible strings. Even when you believe you're ignoring something, a part of you has quietly stored it away, ready to color your emotions and choices later in ways you might never fully understand. Fact 10. Your face reveals secrets in microseconds. Your face is constantly speaking, even when your words say nothing. Tiny flashes of emotion appear and disappear in less than a second, so quick that most people never consciously notice them. These are called micro-expressions, and they are controlled entirely by the subconscious. A flicker of anger, a flash of fear, a brief spark of joy, each one lasts only a fraction of a moment, but together they tell the truth about what you are really feeling. Because these expressions are subconscious, they are nearly impossible to fake or hide. You might smile to cover irritation, but a split-second tightening around your eyes can reveal the real emotion underneath. You might claim to be calm, but a brief widening of the eyes or a twitch at the corner of the mouth can betray fear or surprise. These signals are part of an ancient system of communication, evolved to ensure honesty even when words deceive. Long before humans developed complex language, faces spoke through expressions, and the subconscious learned to read them instantly. Today, trained observers, therapists, investigators, and even some friends can learn to spot micro-expressions, giving them a window into feelings that words try to conceal. But most of the time, these flashes pass unnoticed, shaping interactions in subtle ways. Every conversation carries two layers: the conscious story told in words and the subconscious story flickering across the face, written in expressions too fast to disguise, but powerful enough to influence how people feel about each other. Fact 11. Posture. Shifts before you feel the emotion. Your body often knows what you're feeling before your conscious mind catches up. When anxiety begins to rise, your shoulders tense and hunch inward, sometimes even before you realize you're nervous. When joy sparks inside you, your chest opens and your chin lifts, changes that happen without any deliberate thought. These shifts in posture are orchestrated by the subconscious, translating inner emotional states into physical signals that others can read. The fascinating thing is that this relationship works both ways. Not only does emotion shape posture, but posture can also shape emotion. If you stand tall with your shoulders back, your subconscious interprets this physical position as a sign of confidence, and you may actually start to feel more self-assured. If you relax your shoulders and soften your stance, your subconscious reads this as safety, and anxiety may begin to ease. This two-way conversation between body and mind reveals just how deeply the subconscious is entwined with your physical presence. You do not simply feel an emotion and then act on it. The subconscious blends feeling and movement into a single language, constantly translating the unseen world of emotion into visible changes in how you hold yourself. Sometimes these shifts are so subtle that you never notice them consciously, but they are always there, quietly expressing what lies beneath the surface. Fact 12. Constant scanning for danger never stops. Even when you are completely relaxed. Sipping tea or daydreaming by a window, part of your brain remains on silent alert. The subconscious is always monitoring your surroundings, scanning for threats even when your conscious mind is absorbed in other thoughts. A sudden movement at the edge of your vision, a shift in the sounds around you, a flicker of shadow where there should be stillness. Any of these can trigger instant attention before you understand why. This vigilance is ancient, rooted deep in evolution. Long before cities and safety, survival depended on noticing predators, rivals, or danger in time to respond. Early humans who failed to detect threats did not survive long enough to pass on their genes, so over countless generations the brain developed this constant watchfulness, a system that never fully rests. Today, the dangers are different. You are unlikely to face a wild animal or an enemy ambush, but the subconscious still operates with the same intensity, filtering every sound, every movement, every shadow, and raising alarms when something feels unusual. Often you experience this as a faint sense of unease, a feeling that something is not quite right even though you cannot say what. That is your subconscious warning system at work, quietly guarding you against a world it still perceives as unpredictable and potentially dangerous. It is proof that a part of you never stops watching, never stops protecting, even when the conscious mind is miles away in thought. Fact 13. Gut feelings are hidden. Pattern. Recognition. Intuition often feels mysterious, like a whisper from somewhere outside logic. But most gut feelings are actually the result of your subconscious recognizing patterns based on a vast library of past experiences. Your brain has absorbed countless details throughout your life, far more than your conscious mind could ever track or remember. When you encounter a new situation, your subconscious compares it against this enormous archive, spotting similarities and connections in a fraction of a second. Then it sends a signal, often felt as a hunch, an instinct, or that sense of just knowing something without being able to explain why. A doctor might sense that a patient needs a certain test even before the symptoms clearly point that way. A chess player might know the best move instantly without consciously calculating every possibility. The conscious mind cannot always articulate the reasoning because the process happened too fast and too deep to translate into words. What feels like magic or intuition is really your subconscious working at incredible speed, analyzing and comparing in ways that deliberate thought simply cannot match. This is why gut feelings are sometimes startlingly accurate. They are based on real information, real patterns, real experience. The subconscious has been paying attention all along, quietly learning, and when it recognizes something important, it speaks up in the only way it knows how, through feeling rather than words. Fact 14. Smells unlock subconscious memories instantly. A single scent can transport you back in time with astonishing power. The smell of fresh bread might bring back mornings in your grandmother's kitchen. A whiff of perfume might remind you of someone you loved years ago. The faint aroma of rain on pavement might stir a memory you thought was lost forever. This happens because the sense of smell is wired differently from your other senses. Scent signals travel directly to areas of the brain that handle memory and emotion, bypassing many of the filters that other sensory information must pass through. As a result, smells often stir feelings before you can even identify what you are smelling or why it matters. You might suddenly feel comforted, sad, or nostalgic without consciously understanding the source. Scientists call this the Proustian phenomenon, named after the writer Marcel Proust, who famously described how the taste and smell of a small cake brought an entire world of childhood memories flooding back. These subconscious links show how deeply sensory experiences are written into the brain. Smells are stored alongside emotions and moments, tied together so tightly that encountering the scent again can awaken the entire memory as if no time has passed. This is why certain aromas feel so personal and powerful. They are keys that unlock doors in the subconscious, doors that lead back to places, people, and feelings that live on quietly inside you, waiting for the right trigger to bring them vividly alive again. Fact 15. Muscle memory is stored in the subconscious. After enough practice, complex physical skills begin to feel effortless. Riding a bicycle, typing on a keyboard, playing a musical instrument, All of these activities flow smoothly because the instructions for them are stored deep in subconscious memory networks. When you first learned to ride a bike, every movement required intense focus. Balancing, pedaling, steering, it all felt awkward and uncertain. But through repetition, the subconscious absorbed the patterns, encoding them so thoroughly that conscious thought was no longer needed. Now you can ride while talking, thinking, or even daydreaming because the subconscious has taken over, guiding your body with precision. Athletes and musicians often describe this as being in the zone, a state where conscious thought fades away and performance becomes automatic. The body seems to know what to do on its own, moving with grace and accuracy. Muscle memory is not actually stored in the muscles themselves. It lives in the brain, in circuits that coordinate movements so smoothly it feels instinctive. Once these patterns are ingrained, they can last for years, even if you stop practicing. Picking up a bicycle after decades away often feels surprisingly natural because the subconscious has preserved the program, holding it ready for whenever you need it again. It is a reminder that much of learning is not about memorizing facts, but about embedding actions into the hidden architecture of the mind, where they can be recalled effortlessly whenever the moment calls for them. Fact 16. Athletes rely on split-second subconscious reflexes. In the heat of competition, there is no time to think. A tennis player returns a serve travelling faster than conscious thought can process. A goalkeeper dives to block a shot with barely a heartbeat to react. A basketball player catches a pass and shoots in one fluid motion. These feats are possible because the subconscious handles reflexes far faster than deliberate thinking ever could. Hours, months, years of practice have trained neural circuits until they become automatic, stored as subconscious routines. When the critical moment arrives, the body moves instantly, guided by hidden processes that bypass hesitation entirely. Athletes often describe this sensation as reacting without thinking, as if something deeper took control. It is not mystical, it is neurological. The subconscious manages the split-second timing required for success, coordinating muscles, balance, and perception faster than conscious awareness can follow. The conscious mind often arrives a moment later, narrating what just happened, surprised by the speed and accuracy of its own body. This partnership between conscious and subconscious is what makes elite performance possible. Deliberate practice loads the subconscious with patterns and possibilities. Then, in the moment of action, the subconscious takes the lead, executing with a speed and precision that conscious thought could never achieve. It is proof that the hidden mind is not just a background assistant. In moments that matter most, it becomes the one in charge. Fact 17. Dreams explore. Unresolved ideas and emotions. Dreams often seem random, filled with bizarre images and impossible events. But many scientists believe they are actually the subconscious experimenting with unfinished business. Fragments of memory, unspoken fears, hidden desires, all of these are woven into strange narratives while you sleep. A stressful event from the day might replay in symbolic form. An unsolved problem might be rehearsed through metaphor. A relationship tension might appear as a dream about being lost or chased. During dreaming, the subconscious is freer than it is during waking life. It is unconstrained by logic, by social rules, or by the demands of the external world. This freedom allows it to test scenarios, combine ideas, and explore possibilities that the waking mind would immediately dismiss as unrealistic or impossible. Some researchers believe this process helps with emotional regulation, allowing the subconscious to process feelings in a safe space where nothing is truly at risk. Others think it aids memory consolidation, helping the brain decide what to keep and what to let go. Still, others suggest it supports creative problem-solving, giving the mind a chance to connect ideas in unexpected ways. The bizarre imagery of dreams is the subconscious speaking in its own language, a language of symbols rather than words, of feelings rather than facts. Not every dream carries a hidden message, but many serve as glimpses into the subconscious at play, revealing that even in sleep, the hidden mind is busy working through the unresolved stories of your life. Fact 18. Hypnosis speaks directly to the subconscious. Under hypnosis, something interesting happens. The conscious mind becomes quieter and the subconscious becomes more accessible. In this focused state, suggestions can bypass the usual resistance and influence perception, sensation, or behavior. Hypnosis has been used to reduce pain, overcome phobias, break habits, and even improve performance by speaking directly to the subconscious patterns that guide behavior. People under hypnosis often remain aware of what is happening. They are not asleep or unconscious. Instead, their attention is narrowed, focused intensely on the voice of the hypnotist or on a particular idea. This allows deeper layers of the mind to be reached without the interference of conscious doubt or analysis. The subconscious, in this state, becomes more open to alternative pathways, more willing to consider new associations and release old patterns. While popular culture often portrays hypnosis as a form of mind control, in reality it is more like a conversation with a hidden mind. The subconscious is not surrendering control. It is simply becoming more receptive, more willing to listen and explore. This reveals how much of behavior is guided by processes below awareness, and how, with the right approach, those processes can be gently adjusted. Hypnosis shows that beneath conscious resistance lies a malleable system, one that is ready to shift when spoken to in its own language, a language of suggestion, rhythm, and focused attention. Fact 19. Speech is edited by the subconscious before it leaves your mouth. When you speak, it feels as if words emerge fully formed from your thoughts. But in reality, the subconscious has already shaped them before they reach your lips. Milliseconds before you become aware of what you're about to say, your brain is preparing the sentence, checking grammar, adjusting tone, and evaluating whether the words are appropriate for the situation. Most of this editing happens invisibly, so speech flows naturally without conscious planning. Occasionally, a slip of the tongue reveals the hidden process. A word is chosen too quickly, or a thought accidentally spoken aloud, and suddenly you realize there was a system working behind the scenes. These errors, though embarrassing, show the subconscious machinery that usually operates flawlessly, fine-tuning language in real time before it becomes public. This system is what allows humans to speak fluently and rapidly without consciously planning every single word. Imagine if you had to deliberately construct each sentence, word by word, checking every choice before speaking. Conversation would be painfully slow. Instead, the subconscious drafts, edits, and releases sentences so smoothly that speaking feels effortless. It is like having a hidden author inside you, one who writes faster than you can think, ensuring that communication keeps flowing without pause. Most of the time, you never notice this author at work, but every word you say is proof that the subconscious is constantly shaping language, quietly turning thought into sound. Fact 20. Belief itself can change the body. The placebo effect is one of the most fascinating demonstrations of the subconscious influencing the body. When a person takes a sugar pill believing it is real medicine, actual physical changes can occur. Pain may lessen, anxiety may ease, even measurable shifts in brain chemistry can happen. This effect depends heavily on subconscious belief. The mind accepts the expectation of healing and translates it into the body, activating natural systems of relief and repair. What is remarkable is that even when people consciously know a pill is inert, the subconscious may still respond if the ritual and trust are strong enough. The presence of a doctor, the act of taking a pill, the reassurance that help is on the way, all of these cues speak to the subconscious in a language it understands. The subconscious does not analyze whether the treatment is chemically active. It responds to the belief, the context, and the expectation. This reveals the astonishing influence of the hidden mind on physiology. Belief itself can become medicine, showing that health is not only a physical process but also a deeply psychological one. The subconscious bridges thought and biology, reaching into the body's chemistry in ways that science is still working to fully understand. It is a powerful reminder that the mind does not merely shape emotions or habits. It can also reach into the very mechanisms of healing, proving that what you believe, what you expect, can change what you physically feel. Fact 21. Your heartbeat and breathing. Run on autopilot. Every moment of your life, from the day you were born until the day you take your last breath, your heart beats and your lungs breathe without you having to think about it. This incredible feat is managed entirely by the subconscious. The autonomic nervous system, controlled by hidden brain structures, directs your heartbeat, adjusts your breathing, balances your blood pressure, and coordinates countless other functions without any conscious involvement. If you had to manually regulate each breath or consciously command every heartbeat, life would be impossible. You would never be able to sleep, think, or focus on anything else. Instead, the subconscious runs these essential programs flawlessly in the background, keeping you alive while your conscious mind is free to read, work, dream, and create. Interestingly, you can influence these systems indirectly. Slowing your breathing can calm your heart rate. Meditation can lower blood pressure. Deep, deliberate breaths can ease anxiety. This shows that while the subconscious holds the primary controls, the conscious mind can occasionally lean in to adjust, creating a partnership between intention and automation. The balance between the two ensures survival. The subconscious is the steady, tireless caretaker of life's essential rhythms, working without rest, without thanks, and without ever asking for recognition, simply keeping you alive, moment after moment, breath after breath. Fact 22. Eye movements reveal hidden emotions. Your eyes move in ways you do not consciously control, and these movements often reveal what is happening in the subconscious. Rapid darting of the eyes may signal nervousness or distraction. Steady focus can indicate determination or interest. The direction your eyes move when recalling information can even hint at whether you're remembering something visual, auditory, or emotional. Even your pupils change size subconsciously, widening in response to attraction, excitement, or interest, and shrinking when you feel discomfort or stress. These shifts happen too quickly for deliberate control, yet they speak volumes to anyone watching closely. In many situations, people trust what they see in someone's eyes more than the words being spoken, sensing truth or deception in the tiny motions that the subconscious cannot hide. The eyes are often called the windows to the soul, and there is truth in that phrase. They are not just organs for seeing. They are also instruments through which the subconscious expresses attention, emotion, and intent. Every glance, every blink, every subtle dilation is part of an unspoken language, revealing feelings that the conscious mind might choose to conceal. The subconscious constantly shapes where you look, how long you look, and how your eyes respond to what they see, leaving traces of the hidden mind in every flicker and shift. Fact 23. Déjà vu may be a subconscious memory glitch. The eerie sensation of déjà vu, the feeling that a moment has already happened before, is thought to arise from the subconscious making a small error in memory processing. One explanation is that sensory information briefly takes the wrong neural pathway, causing the subconscious to treat new input as if it were a memory rather than a fresh experience. Another theory suggests that déjà vu occurs when the subconscious detects a strong similarity between the present moment and a forgotten past event, triggering recognition without providing the context. Either way, the phenomenon highlights how the subconscious manages memory behind the scenes, deciding what is new and what is familiar. When the system stumbles, even for a fraction of a second, the conscious mind interprets it as a strange sense of familiarity without reason. You feel certain you have been here before, done this before, yet you cannot explain why or remember when. Déjà vu demonstrates how fragile and complex the relationship between memory and perception truly is. The subconscious is usually flawless at distinguishing past from present, but occasionally it slips, creating illusions that feel both mysterious and strangely profound. These moments remind us that memory is not a perfect recording. It is a reconstruction, constantly being edited and interpreted by the subconscious, and sometimes that reconstruction creates echoes that never actually existed. Fact 24. Phobias are deeply rooted subconscious. Fears. A person with a fear of spiders may panic at the sight of even the smallest, most harmless one. Someone with a fear of flying may feel overwhelming terror before boarding a plane, even though they know statistically it is safe. These reactions are not chosen or deliberate. They emerge from subconscious fear circuits that have been programmed to respond, as if the threat is immediate and real. Phobias are often rooted in past experiences, sometimes from childhood, or they may be inherited warning systems passed down through generations. Whatever their origin, they are etched so deeply into the subconscious that logic alone cannot erase them. The subconscious responds as if danger is present, flooding the body with fear, triggering rapid heartbeat, sweating, trembling, and the overwhelming urge to escape. Therapy for phobias often involves gradually retraining the subconscious through careful exposure, teaching it over time that the feared object or situation is not truly threatening. This process is slow because the subconscious holds on tightly to patterns that it believes are keeping you safe. Until the hidden mind is convinced otherwise, it will continue to react automatically, protecting you in its own way even when that protection is no longer necessary. Phobias reveal the stubborn strength of subconscious memory, showing how powerful and enduring fear can be once it is embedded beneath the surface of awareness. Fact 25. The subconscious sometimes overreacts to harmless things. Not every alarm raised by the subconscious is accurate or helpful. Sometimes it interprets neutral signals as dangerous, activating fear responses when no real threat exists. A creak in the house at night may spark unease even though it is just the building settling. A stranger's casual glance may feel threatening even though they meant nothing by it. These reactions come from ancient survival systems designed to favor caution over accuracy. The subconscious follows a simple rule. It is better to mistake a shadow for a predator than to miss a real predator and pay with your life. This bias means the subconscious sometimes errs on the side of fear, triggering responses that the conscious mind knows are unnecessary. Over time, repeated false alarms can feed into anxiety disorders, where the subconscious begins treating harmless cues as constant threats. The world starts to feel dangerous even when it is not, and the body remains in a state of high alert that exhausts and overwhelms. Yet this system exists because of its evolutionary success. Human survival has always depended more on vigilance than on perfect accuracy. The subconscious may overreact, but in doing so, it ensures that you are always prepared, always ready to respond, even if most of the time there is nothing to fear. It is a system built for survival in a world that was once far more dangerous than the one we live in today, and it continues to operate with the same intensity, protecting you whether the danger is real or imagined. Fact 26. Humor often starts in the subconscious. Laughter is one of the strangest reflexes humans have. It often bursts out without any conscious control, triggered by something unexpected or surprising. Many scientists believe that humor depends on the subconscious detecting a violation of what you expected to happen. A twist in logic, a surprising ending. A clever mismatch between what should be and what actually is. The conscious mind then interprets this surprise as funny, but the initial reaction often begins much deeper. This explains why jokes lose their power once you have heard them before. The subconscious must be caught off guard to find joy in the contrast. Even tickling may work partly because it hijacks this system, surprising the body with sensations it cannot predict. Humor shows that the subconscious delights in discovery, rewarding the brain for finding patterns and then breaking them in playful ways. Laughter is not just entertainment. It is a glimpse into the playful side of the hidden mind, a reminder that even beneath all the serious work of survival and regulation, the subconscious has room for surprise and joy. Fact 27. Facial recognition happens almost instantly. When you see a familiar face in a crowd, recognition happens in a flash. You do not consciously analyze each feature, measuring the distance between eyes or the shape of the nose. Instead, the subconscious processes the image in specialized regions of the brain that are designed specifically for faces. This system works so fast and efficiently that you may notice you recognize someone before you even know who they are. The feeling of familiarity arrives first, and the name or context follows a moment later. Damage to these subconscious pathways can lead to a condition called prosopagnosia, or face blindness, where people lose the ability to identify even their closest loved ones by sight alone. The speed of subconscious facial recognition highlights just how much of social interaction depends on processes you never see. It is one of the brain's most specialized abilities, honed over thousands of generations of human evolution. Every smile you recognize, every glance you interpret, every familiar face you spot across a room is made possible by the subconscious scanning features at incredible speed and handing the result to your conscious mind as an effortless feeling of knowing. Fact 28. Conversation rhythms synchronize without effort. When two people talk, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. Their rhythms begin to align without any deliberate effort. Speech patterns, pauses, the rise and fall of tone, all of these subtly match between speakers. This synchronization is guided entirely by the subconscious. You may find yourself matching the pace of a friend's speech, slowing down when they slow down, speeding up when they speed up, all without realizing it. This subconscious mirroring is part of what makes conversation feel natural and comfortable. It reflects the brain's hidden talent for tracking patterns and adjusting in real time. Researchers believe this mimicry helps build trust and understanding between people, reinforcing social bonds through invisible harmony. You are not aware of making these adjustments. The subconscious handles them quietly in the background, shaping speech into a kind of duet. Every conversation is therefore more than just an exchange of words. It is also a rhythm conducted partly by the subconscious, weaving voices together into patterns that create connection beneath the level of awareness. Fact 29. Mimicking others builds trust. Without awareness, beyond language, the subconscious also imitates gestures, facial expressions, and posture during social interaction. This mirroring often happens completely outside awareness. You might cross your arms when another person does, lean forward when they lean forward, or smile in response to their smile, all without consciously deciding to do so. Such mimicry is subtle, but incredibly powerful. It signals empathy and creates rapport, helping people feel understood and connected. Experiments have shown that individuals are more likely to trust and cooperate with those who mirror them subconsciously, even when they have no idea the mirroring is taking place. This effect reveals how much of social bonding occurs beneath the surface. The subconscious orchestrates these tiny adjustments constantly, creating harmony that smooths human interaction in ways words alone never could. By the time your conscious mind notices comfort or trust building between you and someone else, the subconscious has already laid the groundwork through invisible imitation. These micro-adjustments are too quiet to see clearly, but they are strong enough to bind people together, building bridges of connection through gestures and movements that happen automatically. Fact 30. Blushing reveals what you cannot hide. Few physical reactions are as uncontrollable as blushing. A sudden rush of blood colours the cheeks, often in response to embarrassment, unexpected attention or attraction. This response is not commanded by the conscious mind. It is triggered by subconscious emotional circuits that respond faster than thought. The body interprets social exposure or heightened emotion as a signal to flush the skin, almost as if confessing something the conscious mind would prefer to keep hidden. Trying not to blush often makes it worse because focusing attention on it only amplifies the subconscious trigger. Scientists believe blushing may have evolved as a social signal, a way of demonstrating sincerity and vulnerability to others. When you blush, you are showing that you care about how you are perceived, that you are emotionally engaged in the moment. Whatever its evolutionary purpose, blushing remains one of the clearest examples of the subconscious acting independently of will. You cannot choose whether or not to blush. It simply happens. The subconscious speaks directly through the body in these moments, revealing feelings in a language as old as human interaction itself. Fact 31. Walking and balance are managed automatically. Every step you take is far more complex than it feels. Walking requires the precise coordination of hundreds of muscles, the constant adjustment of posture and weight, and the integration of signals from your eyes, inner ear, and body senses. Yet you are rarely aware of any of this intricate work. The subconscious handles balance and movement automatically, keeping you upright on uneven ground, adjusting your stride when the floor slopes, and catching you if you stumble. Even the rhythm of walking is guided subconsciously, allowing your mind to wander, plan your day, or hold a conversation while your body moves without supervision. When balance is disrupted, perhaps on a swaying boat or an icy sidewalk, you suddenly realize just how much work the subconscious does to keep you steady. It is like a background orchestra of movement, a system refined through millions of years of evolution to let you walk, run, climb, and dance with grace, all while your conscious mind is free to think about anything else. The subconscious manages this complexity so effortlessly that you only notice its work when something goes wrong. Fact 32. Yawning spreads through subconscious empathy. Yawning is simple enough, yet its contagiousness is truly extraordinary. Seeing someone yawn, hearing a yawn, or even just reading about yawning can trigger the same response in you. This reflex is linked to subconscious empathy and mirror neurons in the brain. When you observe someone else in a particular state, your subconscious automatically simulates that state within yourself. One person yawns, and the subconscious interprets it as a cue to align, producing a yawn in response without any deliberate decision. Interestingly, research shows the effect is strongest among close friends and family members, suggesting a deep connection to social bonding. Even some animals like chimpanzees and dogs show contagious yawning, reinforcing the idea that it is tied to emotional connection and group cohesion. Yawning is not really about getting more oxygen, as people once believed. Instead, it is about the subconscious synchronizing states across a group. Each shared yawn is an invisible signal that says, in essence, I feel what you feel. In this way, the subconscious uses even the simplest reflexes to forge unity, binding individuals together through automatic responses that bypass conscious control entirely. Fact 33. Hidden bias shapes decisions without your knowledge. Prejudice often operates not through deliberate hatred, but through subconscious associations formed over years of exposure to culture, media, and experience. These hidden preferences are called implicit biases, and they can influence decisions in hiring, education, law enforcement, and countless daily interactions without any awareness. A person may consciously believe deeply in equality and fairness, while their subconscious still associates certain groups with stereotypes learned long ago. These biases are measured through specialized tests that detect subtle differences in reaction times, revealing subconscious leanings that words and conscious beliefs cannot capture. While implicit biases may not align with what someone consciously values, they still shape perception and behavior in real ways. Recognizing this fact is the first step toward change. Awareness, education, and structured decision-making processes can gradually retrain the subconscious, reducing the automatic associations it has absorbed. Implicit bias shows just how powerful the subconscious is in shaping social behavior and how important it becomes to understand the hidden forces guiding choices beneath the surface. Self-knowledge requires looking not only at what you consciously believe but also at what you feel and react to without realizing it. Fact 34. Mirror neurons let you feel what others feel. When you watch someone smile with genuine joy, something happens inside your brain. Certain neurons fire in patterns similar to the ones that would activate if you were smiling yourself. When you see someone wince in pain, your brain mirrors that experience internally. This happens because of mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing it. They allow the subconscious to simulate the experiences of others automatically. This system is thought to underlie empathy, social learning, and deep connection between people. When a child imitates an adult, or when you flinch at seeing someone stub their toe, mirror neurons are at work beneath awareness. Much of this mirroring happens subconsciously. The hidden mind echoes behavior and emotion automatically, which is why laughter spreads through groups, why accents shift when you spend time with people who speak differently, and why emotions ripple through crowds. Mirror neurons are the hidden translators between yourself and others, blending your personal experience with your perception of those around you. Through them, the subconscious becomes a bridge, allowing one mind to echo and understand the feelings of another without words. Fact 35. The subconscious tracks time more accurately than you think. You may not consciously notice minutes or hours passing, yet the subconscious often keeps surprisingly accurate track of time. Many people can wake up without an alarm at the exact moment they intended, guided by subconscious monitoring of internal biological rhythms. Musicians and athletes rely on subconscious timing to perform sequences with perfect rhythm, often faster than conscious counting could ever manage. Even during dreams, the subconscious preserves a sense of duration, which is why short naps can feel long, or why hours of sleep sometimes seem to pass in an instant. Scientists believe the subconscious monitors biological clocks, heartbeat patterns, environmental light changes, and countless other cues, weaving them together into an internal sense of time. Conscious awareness of time is often distorted by attention, mood, and activity. An exciting hour flies by while a boring one drags endlessly. But beneath these distortions lies a steadier rhythm, maintained invisibly by the subconscious. It may not tell you the exact hour on command, but it ensures your body and mind stay aligned with the hidden flow of time, coordinating sleep cycles, hunger patterns, and energy levels throughout each day. Fact 36. You can sense when someone is staring at you. Many people have experienced the strange sensation of being watched, only to turn around and find it true. Research suggests this may come from subconscious sensitivity to extremely subtle cues in your environment. The subconscious processes peripheral vision and tiny movements that the conscious mind never notices, detecting when another person's gaze is directed at you. The conscious mind may not pick up these details, but the subconscious assembles them into a quiet signal of attention. Evolution may have sharpened this awareness, because detecting a predator's stare or recognizing when someone was watching from the shadows could mean the difference between life and death. Even in modern settings, the subconscious continues to monitor the social environment around you, alerting you when eyes linger in your direction. This phenomenon demonstrates the subconscious as a constant observer, tracking signals that never reach deliberate thought. It is why a glance across a crowded room can sometimes be felt even before it is consciously seen. The subconscious has already noticed and is whispering to your body that you are not alone, that attention is being paid. Fact 37. Peripheral vision is constantly scanned by the subconscious. While your conscious attention focuses at the center of your vision, reading these words or looking at a specific object, the subconscious handles everything else. Peripheral vision is highly sensitive to movement, shape, and contrast, and the subconscious constantly scans it for any change. This is why something darting at the edge of your sight instantly captures attention. The subconscious has flagged it as potentially important before you consciously register what it might be. In ancient environments, this allowed early humans to spot predators or threats approaching from the sides. Today, it helps when driving a car, playing sports, or navigating crowded streets. Most of what passes through peripheral vision never reaches full awareness, but it still informs your posture, reactions, and mood in subtle ways. The subconscious acts as a gatekeeper, constantly deciding which signals are urgent enough to push into conscious focus. Every time you are startled by something moving out of the corner of your eye, it is proof that the subconscious has been watching and monitoring all along, keeping guard over the entire field of vision, while your conscious mind focuses narrowly on what seems most important. Fact 38. Imagining something can change your heart rate. The body responds not only to real events, but also to vividly imagined ones. If you close your eyes and picture yourself in a dangerous situation, your heart rate can increase even though you are sitting safely. If you visualize a calm beach or a peaceful forest, your heart rate may slow and your muscles relax. This happens because the subconscious treats vivid mental imagery almost as if it were reality, activating physical responses accordingly. Athletes use this effect to prepare for competition, mentally rehearsing movements and scenarios until their bodies respond as if the event were actually happening. Therapists use guided imagery to help patients reduce anxiety or manage chronic pain, leveraging the power of the subconscious to alter physical states through imagination alone. The conscious mind may know the images are not real, but the subconscious responds anyway. This demonstrates how tightly thought and body are intertwined, and how much influence the hidden mind holds over physical experience. To imagine something vividly is, in many ways, to practice it. The subconscious blurs the line between inner vision and outer reality, treating imagination as a kind of rehearsal space where the body prepares for what the mind can see. Fact 39. Trauma can echo in the subconscious for decades. Events of intense fear, pain, or loss may leave traces that persist far beyond conscious memory. Trauma can embed itself deeply in subconscious circuits, creating patterns that trigger reactions years or even decades later. A particular sound, a familiar scent, or even a passing phrase may suddenly awaken emotions that the conscious mind cannot explain. The subconscious remembers even when words and clear recollections are absent. These imprints can shape behavior, relationships, self-perception, and emotional responses in ways that feel mysterious or irrational. Therapy often aims to bring these subconscious memories gently into conscious awareness, where they can be processed, understood, and integrated. Until that happens, the subconscious may continue replaying echoes of the past, influencing the present invisibly. Trauma demonstrates both the resilience and the vulnerability of the hidden mind. It protects by burying unbearable memories, shielding the conscious self from overwhelming pain. But it also binds individuals to those memories, holding them in patterns that can be difficult to break. Healing often begins by recognizing that the subconscious is not just a machine of habits and reflexes. It is also the keeper of the most enduring emotional scars, and those scars deserve gentle attention and care. Fact 40. Hidden stress can slow physical healing. The body's ability to repair itself is shaped not only by medicine and biology, but also by the state of the subconscious mind. Chronic stress activates hidden pathways that release hormones like cortisol, which over time can suppress the immune system and slow down recovery. Even when a person consciously feels fine or insists they are not stressed, the subconscious may be carrying tension that subtly hinders the healing process. Wounds close more slowly, illnesses linger longer, and energy remains drained. Studies have shown that patients with lower levels of subconscious stress markers recover faster from surgery and illness. Techniques like meditation, therapy, laughter, and supportive relationships can reduce subconscious stress, freeing the body to heal more efficiently. This connection between mind and body illustrates the profound power of the subconscious in physical health. What lies hidden beneath awareness can either support recovery or quietly sabotage it. Healing is not only a matter of medical treatment, it is also about creating a state of mind where the subconscious feels safe enough to allow the body to do its work without interference from invisible strain. Fact 41. Eye contact triggers. Immediate trust signals. Looking into someone's eyes triggers automatic subconscious responses. Prolonged eye contact can create feelings of intimacy, connection, and trust, while avoiding eye contact may signal dishonesty, discomfort, or disinterest. These reactions happen without deliberate thought, as the subconscious interprets eye behavior as a window into intent and emotion. Experiments show that people are more likely to believe and trust someone who maintains steady eye contact, even if their words are uncertain or vague. This system likely evolved to strengthen social bonds, allowing humans to quickly detect sincerity and emotional honesty in others. The subconscious acts as a judge, weighing gaze patterns and producing an emotional reaction, either trust or suspicion, based on what it observes. Every glance you share with another person is therefore more than just a conscious exchange of attention. It is also a conversation between subconscious minds, speaking through the silent language of the eyes, communicating feelings and intentions that words alone could never fully express. The eyes reveal what the mouth might hide, and the subconscious reads this language fluently. Fact 42. Music changes your breathing without you noticing. When you listen to music, your body often responds in ways you never consciously notice. Your breathing synchronizes to the rhythm, your heart rate shifts with the tempo, and your muscles subtly relax or tense depending on the melody and mood. These effects are orchestrated entirely by the subconscious, which processes rhythm and emotional tone faster than conscious thought. Slow, steady music can calm your breathing and lower stress, while fast beats may energize your body and elevate your heart rate. Singers and musicians rely on this subconscious connection to maintain perfect timing and emotional expression in their performances. Even listeners who are unaware of the effect are moved by it, finding themselves soothed by a gentle song or stirred by an intense composition. Music bypasses logical thought and speaks directly to the subconscious, shaping the rhythms of the body in harmony with its patterns. It is one reason why music feels so universal and powerful. It connects instantly with the hidden mind, altering states of being without requiring any explanation, analysis, or deliberate control from the listener. Fact 43. Forcing a smile can actually improve your mood. The connection between body and subconscious runs in both directions. Just as emotions shape facial expressions, expressions can also influence emotions. Smiling, even when forced or artificial, can trigger the subconscious to interpret the gesture as genuine happiness. This activates brain circuits associated with joy and can lift your mood slightly. Psychologists call this the facial feedback hypothesis, and it reveals how the subconscious reads bodily signals to infer what you must be feeling. People who hold a smile during difficult tasks often report feeling less stressed afterward, even though the smile was deliberate and not spontaneous. The subconscious is persuaded by the physical act itself, responding as if the emotion were real. This feedback loop demonstrates how simple physical actions can influence the hidden mind, which in turn influences overall mood and emotional state. A smile is therefore not only an outward expression of happiness, it is also an inward tool, a quiet way of nudging the subconscious toward brighter feelings. The body teaches the mind, and the mind listens, even when the lesson begins as pretend. Fact 44. Nightmares are subconscious. Warnings about inner stress. When the subconscious is burdened by unresolved stress, worry, or fear, it often expresses itself through nightmares. These vivid and unsettling dreams serve as signals that something within needs attention. The subconscious transforms anxiety into symbolic imagery, creating scenarios of being chased, falling endlessly, losing control, or facing danger. While frightening and unpleasant, nightmares may actually help the mind process difficult emotions and rehearse responses to perceived threats. They can also act as warnings, drawing conscious awareness to pressures and tensions that have been ignored or suppressed during waking hours. In this sense, nightmares are not meaningless disturbances. They are communications from the hidden mind, revealing that subconscious systems are working hard to cope with strain and urging the dreamer to address underlying issues before they grow worse. Nightmares may be unpleasant experiences, but they demonstrate the subconscious actively trying to manage invisible burdens, translating tension into imagery that is too urgent and vivid to be ignored or dismissed. Fact 45. Restless movements reveal subconscious anxiety. Tapping your foot, bouncing your knee, fidgeting with your hands, or shifting restlessly in your seat are often signs of subconscious tension. The body channels hidden stress and nervous energy into small, repetitive movements, releasing pressure that has no other outlet. People often do not notice they are doing it until someone else points it out. These movements are not random or meaningless. They reflect subconscious attempts to manage arousal, discomfort, or anxiety. Restless movements often appear in stressful situations, during periods of fatigue, or when the subconscious feels overloaded by demands. While sometimes linked to specific neurological conditions, in most cases they are simply the body's hidden language of unease. The subconscious acts through motion, releasing what cannot be spoken. Even when the conscious mind insists everything is calm and under control, the body may be telling a different story. Recognizing these patterns can provide valuable insight into feelings that remain unspoken and unacknowledged. The body becomes a mirror of the subconscious, revealing through small movements what words and thoughts have not yet admitted or expressed. Fact 46. Stage fright comes from ancient fear circuits. Standing before an audience can trigger intense physical reactions. Racing heartbeat, trembling hands, shallow breathing, sweating. All of these symptoms arise even when the conscious mind knows there is no real danger. Stage fright emerges from subconscious fear circuits that mistake social exposure for a genuine threat. The amygdala, a part of the brain heavily involved in processing fear, floods the body with stress hormones as if survival itself were at stake. This reaction is deeply rooted in human evolution. For early humans, exclusion from the social group could mean isolation, vulnerability, and death. The subconscious cannot easily distinguish between public speaking and life-threatening danger, so it reacts with overwhelming protective force. With practice and repeated exposure, many people learn to manage stage fright by gradually retraining subconscious associations, teaching the brain over time that visibility and attention do not actually mean risk or harm. Until that retraining is complete, the subconscious continues to react protectively, making stage fright one of the most vivid demonstrations of how ancient survival circuits still powerfully shape modern experiences and challenges. Fact 47. Hidden guilt can quietly shape your choices. Guilt does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it lingers quietly in the subconscious, influencing decisions and behavior without clear awareness. A person may avoid certain opportunities, sabotage their own success, or act with unnecessary caution because of unresolved guilt buried below conscious thought. The subconscious carries this emotional weight silently, interpreting new situations through the lens of past mistakes, regrets, or perceived failures. This hidden guilt can manifest as persistent hesitation, unexplained anxiety, or mysterious resistance to positive change. Psychologists often help people uncover these hidden feelings by tracing patterns of avoidance back to their emotional origins. Once brought into the light of conscious awareness, the feelings can be examined, understood, and processed, reducing their grip on behavior. Until that happens, subconscious guilt continues to shape choices in subtle but significant ways, steering decisions like an invisible compass that always points away from resolution and healing. It is a powerful reminder that the subconscious not only remembers what you wish to forget, but also acts quietly on those memories, influencing the paths you take and the opportunities you allow yourself to pursue or avoid. Fact 48. Hormones are regulated automatically by the subconscious. Hormones govern an astonishing range of functions in the body, from growth and mood to stress response and sleep patterns, and their precise timing is managed largely by the subconscious. The brain continuously monitors signals from throughout the body and adjusts hormone release accordingly without any conscious effort. Cortisol rises in the morning to promote alertness and energy. Melatonin increases at night to encourage sleep. Insulin is released to process food and regulate blood sugar. All of this happens automatically, controlled by subconscious networks in the brain, working in coordination with the endocrine system. While the conscious mind may influence hormones indirectly through behavior, such as managing stress levels, choosing when and what to eat, or establishing regular sleep patterns, the fine-tuned moment-to-moment balance is maintained invisibly. This system highlights how the subconscious is not limited to thought, emotion, or behavior. It is also the silent conductor of biological rhythms, adjusting body chemistry constantly to keep everything in harmony with internal needs and external environment, ensuring survival and well-being without ever asking for conscious permission or oversight. Fact 49. Scent can trigger subconscious attraction. While vision and sound dominate conscious perception, scent plays a surprisingly powerful role in subconscious attraction and social connection. Humans, like many other animals, respond to subtle chemical signals that influence behavior, mood, and preferences. These scents, often below the threshold of conscious detection, can alter feelings of attraction and comfort. Research has shown that natural body odor can reflect genetic compatibility, with the subconscious favoring potential partners whose immune systems differ enough to produce healthier offspring. Perfumes, colognes, and natural scents can all trigger subconscious responses that shape how attractive or appealing someone feels to you. The conscious mind may not consciously register the scent, but the subconscious is already making quiet calculations, blending chemistry with perception. Attraction is therefore not only about physical appearance, personality, or shared interests. It is also about a hidden dialogue of scent, where the subconscious listens closely to chemical signals the conscious mind barely notices, shaping feelings of closeness, comfort, connection, or desire without ever using words or explanations. Fact 50. Childhood songs stay in subconscious memory forever. Music heard during childhood leaves an especially deep and lasting imprint on the subconscious mind. A lullaby sung by a parent, a theme song from early years, or even a simple rhyme learned in school can remain vivid and accessible for decades. These melodies are stored not only as sequences of sound, but as powerful emotional anchors tied to specific moments of comfort, safety, joy, or love. The subconscious preserves them carefully even when conscious memory of those times begins to fade. Hearing one of these songs again in adulthood can unlock a sudden flood of emotion, transporting the listener instantly back to early years with remarkable clarity. The effect is so strong because the subconscious encodes music alongside feelings and experiences, creating durable connections that last across an entire lifetime. Childhood songs are therefore more than just nostalgic curiosities or pleasant memories. They are enduring threads woven into the fabric of the subconscious, linking memory and emotion across time, reminding us that the hidden mind remembers far more than we consciously realize, holding treasures from our earliest days that never truly fade away. Fact 51. False memories can be created in the subconscious. Memory feels reliable and trustworthy, yet the subconscious can be persuaded to accept events that never actually happened. Experiments have shown that with carefully worded suggestions and repeated questioning, People can develop vivid memories of childhood experiences that never took place. Someone might remember being lost in a shopping mall as a child, or meeting a cartoon character at an amusement park, complete with sensory details and emotions, even though these events were entirely fabricated. These false memories feel just as real and convincing as genuine ones. The subconscious is especially vulnerable to this kind of suggestion because it does not separate imagination from reality as sharply as the conscious mind does. It reconstructs memories each time they are recalled, blending truth with expectation, filling gaps with plausible details. This is why eyewitness testimony can sometimes be flawed, why nostalgia sometimes reshapes the past into something rosier than it was, and why therapy must proceed carefully when exploring distant memories. False memories reveal the creative and reconstructive nature of the subconscious. It does not store experiences like a video recording that can be played back perfectly. Instead, it constantly rewrites them, blending fact with suggestion and imagination until even the person recalling them cannot distinguish what truly happened from what was merely imagined or suggested. Fact 52. Sleep talking emerges from subconscious activity. In the quiet darkness of night, words sometimes emerge unbidden from sleeping lips. Sleep talking, also called somniloquy, is the subconscious speaking while the conscious mind remains deeply asleep. The phrases may be fragmented and nonsensical, or surprisingly coherent and complete, but they are never under deliberate control. Sleep talking can occur during different stages of sleep, sometimes linked to dreams, sometimes arising from random bursts of subconscious activity that have no clear meaning. The content often reveals little about hidden thoughts or secrets. Most spoken words during sleep are not direct windows into the subconscious, but rather disconnected fragments of processing. Yet the phenomenon itself demonstrates how remarkably active the subconscious remains during rest. Conversations can take place without any awareness, startling anyone listening nearby but leaving the speaker completely oblivious. Sleep talking reminds us that the boundary between waking and sleeping is not absolute or fixed. Even when the conscious mind is silent and withdrawn, the subconscious continues to stir beneath the surface, occasionally sending words into the darkness as echoes of unseen activity still unfolding inside the sleeping brain. Fact 53. Automatic writing flows from subconscious expression. When people engage in automatic writing, they allow words to flow onto paper without conscious planning, editing, or deliberate thought. Writers sometimes describe this experience as their hand moving on its own, producing text that feels surprising or unexpected even to themselves. This is the subconscious at work, shaping language without conscious interference or oversight. In some cases, automatic writing has been used therapeutically, helping individuals uncover buried feelings or memories hidden beneath awareness. Others use it creatively, finding that the subconscious generates ideas, images, or narratives that the conscious mind might have immediately censored or dismissed as silly. While some have claimed supernatural origins for automatic writing, the psychological explanation points to something simpler yet profound. The subconscious is fully capable of producing coherent expression without conscious oversight or direction. Automatic writing offers a direct glimpse into the hidden voice of the mind, one that often emerges most freely and authentically when the conscious self steps aside completely and allows the deeper currents of thought to guide the pen across the page without judgment or control. Fact 54. Painful memories can be suppressed subconsciously. The mind has ways of protecting itself from overwhelming pain. Sometimes memories of trauma or intensely distressing experiences are pushed out of conscious awareness, hidden not by deliberate choice but by automatic subconscious defense mechanisms. This suppression allows individuals to function in daily life without constantly reliving unbearable distress. However, the memories do not disappear. They remain stored deep within, continuing to influence behavior, mood, relationships, and even physical health in ways that are not immediately obvious. Certain triggers may bring suppressed memories back suddenly and unexpectedly, flooding the conscious mind with emotions that feel disproportionate to the present moment. This happens because the subconscious never truly erases traumatic experiences. It only hides them temporarily. Therapists often work carefully and gently to help people retrieve and process suppressed memories in safe, supportive environments. While the phenomenon of memory suppression remains somewhat controversial in psychology, it demonstrates how powerful the subconscious can be as both guardian and jailer. It edits experience not for accuracy or completeness, but for emotional survival, showing that memory is as much about what we strategically forget as about what we consciously remember. Fact 55. Skills improve through subconscious learning. Much of learning happens beneath the surface of awareness. When you practice a skill repeatedly, the subconscious begins to adjust and refine your performance even when you do not consciously notice mistakes or improvements. A pianist may play a difficult passage incorrectly several times, yet through continued repetition, the subconscious gradually corrects the timing, pressure, and rhythm until the music flows smoothly and naturally. This is known as implicit learning, acquiring knowledge and skill without deliberate awareness of the process. Athletes, musicians, language learners, and even children learning to walk and speak rely heavily on this hidden form of education. The subconscious monitors feedback constantly, tracks patterns, and slowly improves performance by embedding new patterns deeply into memory. This explains why skills often feel easier after taking a break. The subconscious has continued processing and refining behind the scenes during rest. Conscious effort provides initial direction and intention, but the hidden systems beneath awareness do much of the heavy lifting. Subconscious learning reveals the brain's remarkable capacity to adapt and improve in ways that bypass conscious attention, allowing progress to unfold naturally, quietly, and efficiently, like invisible hands shaping clay while no one watches. Fact 56. Daydreaming unlocks subconscious creativity. When your mind drifts away from focused tasks and wanders freely, the subconscious takes the lead in guiding thought. Daydreaming often brings unexpected images, ideas, connections, or stories. As if the brain is rehearsing possibilities and exploring scenarios without being asked. Scientists call this the default mode network, a system that becomes active specifically when the conscious mind is not focused on external tasks or problems. During these wandering moments, the subconscious explores connections between memories, emotions, past experiences, and imaginative possibilities, often generating creative insights that would never emerge through focused effort alone. Many inventions, works of art, scientific breakthroughs, and solutions to stubborn problems have been born during daydreams. The mental wandering is not wasted time or laziness. It is subconscious exploration, making sense of experiences, testing scenarios, and combining fragments into something entirely new. While society often values focus and productivity above all else, daydreaming reveals the power of letting go and releasing control. The subconscious uses this freedom to play, to experiment, to combine elements in unexpected ways. Creativity often emerges not when you push hardest with deliberate effort, but when you release control completely, giving the subconscious permission to wander freely and explore unobserved. Fact 57. Hypnagogic states reveal subconscious imagery. The strange moments between wakefulness and sleep, known as hypnagogia, are filled with fleeting visions, sounds, and sensations that seem to come from nowhere. These experiences emerge directly from the subconscious as it begins blending fragments of memory with imagination. Colors shift and morph, shapes transform unpredictably, and voices whisper without clear meaning or coherence. Yet these twilight states can also spark remarkable creativity, offering glimpses of ideas and images that later solidify into conscious artistic or intellectual work. Artists, writers, and inventors throughout history have drawn inspiration from hypnagogic experiences, using them as doorways into the subconscious realm. Unlike full dreams, hypnagogic imagery often occurs while you remain semi-conscious, meaning you may know you are drifting but cannot fully control what appears. This unique zone between awareness and rest provides a rare opportunity to witness the subconscious in direct action, painting its pictures onto the canvas of the mind without filters, without logic, and without the usual constraints of reason or social expectation. It is raw subconscious expression in its purest, most unedited form. Fact 58. Lucid dreaming creates conscious dialogue with the subconscious. In a lucid dream, something extraordinary happens. The dreamer becomes aware they are dreaming, and can sometimes influence or guide the story unfolding around them. This unique state blends conscious awareness with the subconscious dreamscape in remarkable ways. People who experience lucid dreams often describe them as incredibly vivid and exhilarating, where they can ask questions, test possibilities, fly through impossible landscapes, or even practice real skills in a symbolic environment. The subconscious provides the stage, the scenery, and the characters, while the conscious mind navigates knowingly within that world. Some people use lucid dreaming for creative exploration, problem solving, or overcoming deep fears by confronting them in symbolic form within the safety of the dream. Others simply explore the wonder and freedom of bending reality according to imagination. Lucid dreaming shows that the boundary between conscious and subconscious is not absolute or impenetrable. In rare and special moments, the two layers can meet and interact, creating a dialogue across parts of the mind that are usually completely separate. It is a reminder that even in sleep, awareness can sometimes find its way into the hidden worlds maintained by the subconscious. Fact 59. Meditation calms subconscious. Mental chatter, daily life fills the subconscious with constant noise. Worries, habits, automatic reactions, and endless mental chatter hum beneath awareness almost constantly. Meditation offers a way to quiet this persistent background noise by focusing attention on breath, sound, bodily sensation, or simple stillness. Meditators gradually reduce subconscious turbulence and reactivity, creating mental space for clarity, peace, and insight. Brain scans show that regular meditation changes activity in areas linked to attention and emotional regulation, literally soothing subconscious patterns of stress and anxiety. Practitioners often report feeling less overwhelmed by life's demands, as if the tangled threads of the subconscious have been gently combed smooth. This does not mean the subconscious disappears or stops functioning. Rather, its endless whispering is calmed and organized. Over time, meditation can retrain subconscious responses, making stress less automatic and compassion more natural and accessible. It is a practice that speaks directly to the hidden mind, teaching it to settle and listen instead of constantly rushing and reacting. In doing so, meditation reveals the genuine possibility of deep peace within even the deepest, most turbulent layers of the mind. Fact 60. Dreams use symbolism as subconscious language. Dreams often communicate through symbols rather than direct statements. A falling staircase, a locked door that will not open, or a rushing river may not mean what they literally depict, but instead represent subconscious feelings, struggles, or unresolved tensions. The subconscious speaks this language of metaphor and imagery because it naturally bypasses logic and linear thinking, weaving emotions directly into visual and sensory form. While not every dream symbol carries universal meaning that applies to everyone, many reflect deeply personal experiences and associations stored beneath awareness. A childhood home appearing repeatedly in dreams may signal unresolved feelings about family or safety. An endless chase may embody persistent stress or avoidance. Psychologists have studied these patterns for over a century, noting how the subconscious consistently prefers images to words when expressing what lies hidden. Dreams reveal this symbolic voice most clearly, creating a kind of poetry written by the hidden mind. Whether or not interpretation is exact or complete, the use of symbolism shows that the subconscious is always translating emotion into imagery, leaving mysterious traces that conscious thought may only partly understand or decode. Fact 61. Deep sleep continues, subconscious learning, even in the deepest stages of sleep. When the body is most still and consciousness has completely faded, the subconscious remains remarkably active, processing and consolidating information absorbed throughout the day. Skills rehearsed while awake are strengthened and refined overnight, as the subconscious quietly works to cement them into long-term memory. Musicians, for example, often find they perform better after a good night's sleep, even without any additional practice during waking hours. The subconscious has been fine-tuning neural patterns and connections while the body rested. This hidden nighttime learning also explains why reviewing information or studying right before bed can be particularly effective. The subconscious continues working with that material throughout the night. While you dream of unrelated things, the deeper layers of mind are busy solidifying connections and ensuring that knowledge endures beyond the moment of initial exposure. Sleep is therefore not merely rest or recovery. It is also rehearsal and education, a time when the subconscious continues the essential labor of learning, ensuring skills and knowledge are preserved and strengthened while consciousness fades into darkness. Fact 62. The subconscious filters. Voices in noisy crowds. In a crowded room filled with overlapping conversations, background music, and ambient noise, you can still somehow pick out a single familiar voice speaking your name. This remarkable ability is called the cocktail party effect, and it depends entirely on subconscious filtering. While conscious attention struggles to manage multiple competing inputs simultaneously, the subconscious sorts through sounds constantly and automatically, deciding what deserves focused attention. When a familiar name, voice, or personally significant word is detected, the subconscious immediately pushes it into conscious awareness, allowing you to recognize it amid surrounding chaos. This process is so automatic and efficient that you may notice your name being spoken across a noisy room, even when you are not consciously paying attention to that area at all. It demonstrates how the subconscious continuously sorts through sensory overload in the environment, prioritizing information that carries personal or emotional importance. The ability to find one voice among many shows that the subconscious is not merely a passive background processor. It is an active, intelligent filter, ensuring that what truly matters is never lost in the surrounding noise and confusion. Fact 63. Subconscious bias can shape hiring decisions. When employers evaluate job candidates, they may sincerely believe they are being completely objective and fair, yet subconscious biases often slip quietly into the decision-making process. Research has repeatedly shown that subtle cues like names, accents, appearance, or even the formatting of a resume can trigger hidden associations that influence judgments without any deliberate intent. A resume with one type of name may be rated more favorably than an identical resume with a different name, purely because of subconscious stereotypes shaped by culture, media, and repeated exposure. These effects are rarely conscious or intentional, but they stem from deep subconscious patterns that operate automatically. Such biases highlight the powerful hidden influence of the subconscious on fairness, opportunity, and justice. Recognizing and acknowledging these biases is vital to countering their effects. Structured evaluations, blind resume reviews, and diverse hiring panels can all help reduce subconscious influence on important decisions. Hiring, like many areas of human judgment, is ultimately a partnership between conscious reasoning and subconscious influence. Awareness of this hidden interplay helps ensure that decisions are guided not by invisible prejudices or cultural conditioning, but by genuine merit, skill, and potential. Fact 64. Implicit tests. Measure subconscious. Preferences. Psychologists have developed sophisticated tools to measure the hidden leanings and preferences of the subconscious mind. Implicit association tests ask participants to quickly pair words or images together, revealing subtle biases through reaction times that are too fast for conscious control. A person may consciously claim complete neutrality on a topic, yet subconscious patterns often show faster automatic associations between certain groups and certain traits, positive or negative. These tests do not accuse or condemn. Instead, they illuminate the subconscious associations that everyone carries, often shaped by surrounding culture, media exposure, and personal experience from early childhood onward. The results reveal how the subconscious processes social information differently than the conscious mind acknowledges or admits. By uncovering these hidden preferences and automatic associations, individuals gain the opportunity to recognize, challenge, and gradually change them through awareness and intentional effort. The tests demonstrate clearly that the subconscious is not a silent, passive partner in judgment and decision-making. It is an active, powerful force constantly shaping perceptions, reactions, and choices, even when conscious awareness insists otherwise. Fact 65. Snap judgments. Form in fractions of a second. First impressions form with astonishing and sometimes unsettling speed. Within mere fractions of a second, far faster than conscious reasoning can operate, the subconscious evaluates faces, body language, posture, tone of voice, and dozens of other subtle cues, producing instant judgments about trustworthiness, attractiveness, competence, or threat. These snap judgments happen so quickly that conscious reasoning has absolutely no time to intervene or moderate. While not always accurate or fair, they often powerfully influence decisions and interactions long before logic has any opportunity to offer input. The subconscious relies on patterns built from past experiences, cultural learning, evolutionary instincts, and countless previous encounters to guide these lightning-fast assessments. A stranger may immediately feel safe or unsafe, likable or suspicious, before you can consciously explain why or identify the specific cues that led to the feeling. These rapid evaluations show how much of social life is quietly steered by subconscious mechanisms operating far beneath awareness. Conscious thought may later revise, question, or reject initial impressions, but the first judgment often leaves a lasting imprint, shaped entirely by the hidden mind working in complete silence and darkness. Fact 66. Body temperature stays stable. Through subconscious regulation, whether you step into blazing heat or bitter cold, your internal body temperature remains remarkably stable, thanks to constant subconscious regulation. The hypothalamus, a small but crucial structure deep in the brain, monitors both internal and external temperature cues continuously, adjusting blood flow, triggering sweating, or commanding muscles to shiver, all automatically and without conscious thought. These precise adjustments happen invisibly, keeping vital organs at the exact warmth needed for proper function and survival. If you walk into bright sunshine, the subconscious immediately signals sweat glands to cool the skin through evaporation. If you step into freezing air, it commands muscles to shiver rapidly, generating heat through movement. Consciousness may notice the discomfort of feeling hot or cold, but the fine, moment-to-moment control is entirely subconscious, continuous, and absolutely essential to life. Without this tireless regulation, the body could not endure even moderate changes in external temperature. The subconscious acts as the silent climate engineer of the body, maintaining perfect internal balance regardless of what the outer world presents, ensuring survival in environments that would otherwise be deadly. Fact 67. Blinking rate reflects subconscious mental states. You blink thousands upon thousands of times each day, yet you rarely notice it happening. Blinking keeps the eyes moist and clear, removes debris, and gives the visual system brief moments of rest. While you can control blinking deliberately when you think about it, the vast majority occurs automatically, guided entirely by the subconscious. Interestingly, blink rate also reflects underlying mental and emotional states. People tend to blink more frequently when stressed, tired, anxious, or processing complex thoughts. Even subtle shifts in emotion can alter the rhythm of blinking, providing a visible window into subconscious activity for those who know what to watch for. The automatic nature of blinking demonstrates how the subconscious manages countless tiny details of survival and comfort, keeping vision clear and eyes healthy, while the conscious mind focuses elsewhere on more demanding tasks. It is yet another reminder that even the smallest, most mundane reflex carries hidden traces of the subconscious mind constantly at work, maintaining balance and function with quiet, invisible precision that never asks for recognition or thanks. Fact 68. Typing rhythm reveals subconscious mood. When you type on a keyboard, your rhythm and speed are not only products of technical skill or practice, they are also subtle subconscious expressions of your current mental and emotional state. Stress, fatigue, excitement, or sadness can all alter typing patterns in measurable ways, producing slight changes in timing, pressure, and flow. Researchers have found that subconscious states leave distinctive signatures in keystroke dynamics, allowing sophisticated computer programs to potentially identify mood shifts, detect deception, or even recognize individuals based purely on typing patterns. These changes happen completely outside awareness. The subconscious influences fine motor control and rhythm, while the conscious mind focuses entirely on choosing words and constructing sentences. Over time, each person develops a unique typing signature, a digital fingerprint shaped by the hidden rhythms of the subconscious mind. It is a modern reminder that even in highly mechanical technological actions, the subconscious leaves its unmistakable mark. Every line you type carries subtle echoes of the unseen mind beneath, expressed not in the content of words themselves, but in the invisible cadence and rhythm with which fingers touch keys. Fact 69. Handwriting pressure changes with subconscious tension. The physical weight and pressure of a pen on paper may seem trivial or meaningless, but it actually reflects underlying subconscious states with surprising accuracy. Under stress or emotional tension, pressure often increases unconsciously, leaving darker, heavier strokes on the page. In relaxed, peaceful moods, pressure typically lightens, creating softer, gentler marks. Graphologists have long studied handwriting as a potential mirror of personality and emotion, though much remains debated and controversial. What seems clear, however, is that subconscious tension and emotion consistently leak into motor control, subtly altering the force applied during writing. Even people completely unaware of their own stress levels can reveal hidden strain through the depth and intensity of their handwriting. While not a perfect diagnostic tool by any means, handwriting pressure demonstrates how physical actions inevitably carry subconscious traces and emotional signatures. Every page written becomes not only a record of words and ideas, but also a preservation of the hidden feelings present in the precise moment of writing, captured forever in the varying pressure of ink pressed onto paper. Fact 70. Handwriting slant shows subconscious emotional tendencies. The angle at which handwriting tilts, whether leaning right, left, or remaining upright, often reflects subconscious emotional tendencies and personality traits. Rightward slants are sometimes associated with openness, sociability, and emotional expressiveness. Leftward slants may reflect introspection, caution, or emotional restraint. Upright writing often suggests balance, self-control, and emotional stability. These patterns emerge not from conscious decisions about how to form each letter, but from deep subconscious habits shaped by personality, mood, motor learning, and emotional disposition. While interpretation should always be approached with caution and skepticism, the underlying principle remains valid and interesting. Handwriting is partly a direct product of subconscious expression flowing through the hand. The page becomes a canvas where the hidden mind leaves subtle but distinctive signatures. Every curve, tilt, angle, and slant reveals not only the literal words being written, but also hints about the unseen forces shaping them from below, reminding us that the subconscious is always writing its own parallel story, alongside the conscious narrative appearing in ink. Fact 71. Speech rhythm synchronizes for social harmony. When people engage in conversation, their voices do much more than simply exchange information through words. They also share and synchronize rhythm, creating invisible harmony. Without realizing it consciously, you often begin matching the pace, pauses, tone, and intonation of whoever you are speaking with. This subconscious synchronization makes conversations flow smoothly and naturally, creating a sense of connection, comfort, and mutual understanding. Researchers have found that even complete strangers unconsciously fall into shared rhythm when talking, echoing each other's speech patterns as though guided by an invisible conductor or metronome. This phenomenon occurs across cultures and languages, suggesting it is part of deep, universal social wiring in the human brain. The subconscious performs this alignment work automatically because matching rhythm with others promotes trust, cooperation, and group cohesion. Falling out of rhythm, by contrast, can leave an interaction feeling awkward, uncomfortable, or strained, even when the actual words being spoken seem perfectly fine. Every conversation, therefore, carries two layers simultaneously: the conscious story spoken in deliberate words, and the subconscious music playing quietly underneath, a rhythm and harmony created by the hidden mind-seeking connection. Fact 72. Subconscious beliefs can intensify physical pain. Pain is not purely a physical sensation transmitted from injured tissue to the brain. It is also an interpretation, a construction made by the brain, and the subconscious has profound influence over how intensely pain is experienced. If your subconscious expects pain to be severe, the actual experience can become sharper and more unbearable, almost as if an internal volume dial has been turned up. Studies have shown that identical physical stimuli can feel dramatically worse when someone believes or expects they will be painful. Fear, anxiety, and hidden expectation prime the nervous system, magnifying and amplifying signals from the body. Chronic pain often involves this vicious cycle, where the subconscious keeps sending alarm signals long after an original injury has completely healed. This effect shows clearly that pain is part biology and part belief, part body and part mind. Just as the subconscious can protect you by reacting quickly to genuine danger, it can also trap you in heightened suffering when it assumes danger exists where none actually remains. This hidden influence makes pain deeply personal and subjective, an experience shaped as much by the unseen mind as by physical damage or injury. Fact 73. Expectation of relief boosts pain reduction. The mind can make pain worse, but remarkably, it can also make pain better through the power of subconscious expectation. When the subconscious genuinely expects relief, healing, or improvement, the body often responds by releasing natural painkillers such as endorphins. This is the foundation of the placebo effect, where even completely inert pills or fake treatments can create real, measurable reductions in discomfort if the person truly believes they will help. The conscious mind may doubt or question, but the subconscious listens carefully to subtle contextual cues. The presence of a trusted doctor, the familiar ritual of taking medicine, the confident suggestion that healing is coming, all of these speak directly to the hidden mind. Experiments have repeatedly shown that the subconscious can dampen pain signals purely through positive expectation, proving that suffering is not entirely physical, but also powerfully interpretive and psychological. This means that words of reassurance, familiar comforting routines, and genuine belief in recovery all genuinely matter because they prime the subconscious to ease the body's distress. Pain relief is therefore not only about medicine or physical intervention, it is also about the story the subconscious accepts, believes, and then acts upon. Fact 74. Blood pressure shifts with subconscious emotion. The subconscious regulates countless bodily functions continuously, and blood pressure is one of its most sensitively tuned controls. When subconscious circuits sense fear, anger, or stress, the body automatically prepares for potential action by raising blood pressure, pumping blood more forcefully to muscles in case fight or flight becomes necessary. When the subconscious registers safety, calm, or relaxation, it lowers pressure accordingly, giving the heart and blood vessels an opportunity to rest and recover. These changes often begin before conscious awareness catches up, which is why you may suddenly feel flushed, tense, or dizzy only after the subconscious has already acted and adjusted your physiology. Prolonged subconscious stress can keep blood pressure chronically elevated, contributing to serious health problems over time. Conversely, practices that genuinely soothe the hidden mind, such as meditation, music, laughter, or supportive relationships, can bring blood pressure down naturally and sustainably. Blood pressure is not merely a clinical measurement or medical statistic. It is a living reflection of emotional life and mental state, shaped silently and constantly by the hidden mind, showing how feelings and physiology are inseparably bound together. Fact 75. Goosebumps are ancient subconscious, fear signals. Tiny bumps rising suddenly on the skin are a visible reminder of the subconscious mind at work in surprising ways. Goosebumps are caused by tiny muscles pulling at hair follicles, a reflex that humans inherited directly from animal ancestors. In the wild, puffed-up fur made animals appear larger and more threatening to predators, or helped trap additional heat during cold weather. Though modern humans no longer rely on this response for survival, the subconscious still activates it automatically in moments of fear, cold, or intense emotion. A haunting piece of music, a sudden chill in the air, or the sight of something breathtakingly beautiful can all trigger this ancient reflex. It appears instantly and automatically before you can consciously recognize or name what you are feeling. Goosebumps remind us powerfully that ancient survival circuits remain embedded deep in the hidden mind, firing automatically in response to signals the subconscious interprets as meaningful, important, or emotionally significant. They are one of the rare physical signatures of subconscious emotion, written visibly and undeniably across the surface of the skin for all to see. Fact 76. Memory consolidation. During sleep depends on subconscious work. Every night while your conscious mind rests completely, the subconscious becomes a tireless archivist, carefully organizing the experiences of your day. Memories are sifted, sorted, and strengthened through a process scientists call consolidation. Skills rehearsed earlier, whether a musical phrase, a sports technique, or a new word in another language, are replayed by subconscious circuits over and over, reinforcing them until they become durable and lasting. Emotional experiences receive special priority, ensuring that important lessons and significant moments are preserved rather than lost. Without this hidden nighttime work, memories would remain fragile, scattered, and easily forgotten. Sleep deprivation disrupts this essential process, leaving knowledge fragmented and learning incomplete. The subconscious is essentially deciding what deserves to be kept and what can safely fade away, weaving new experiences into the long, continuous story of who you are. This nightly labour shows clearly that learning never stops when the day ends, even in dreams and silence, even in the deepest darkness of sleep. The subconscious remains busy filing the vast library of memory so that waking life can build steadily upon everything that came before. Fact 77. The subconscious determines how time feels. The passing of time is not a fixed objective experience, it is a subjective construction created by the subconscious mind. Hours spent in boredom can feel unbearably slow, dragging endlessly. Joyful moments, by contrast, seem to vanish in what feels like an instant. The subconscious decides how much detail to encode from each experience, and this profoundly influences how time is felt and remembered. Routine experiences are compressed and simplified, making them seem shorter in memory. Novelty and emotional intensity, however, are recorded more richly and vividly, stretching them out both in the moment and in later recollection. This is why childhood summers seem endless and magical when remembered, while adult years often seem to slip away with alarming speed. The subconscious is constantly writing a personal version of time based not on clocks or calendars, but on perception, emotion, and significance. Fear can expand mere seconds into what feels like eternities. Flow states can dissolve entire afternoons without notice. Time as actually lived and experienced is not the steady mechanical rhythm measured by physics. It is the fluid, malleable story the subconscious chooses to tell, shaped continuously by emotion, novelty, and where attention lands. Fact 78. Emotions surface. Subconsciously before awareness. Long before you can consciously name or identify a feeling, the subconscious has already set emotional responses into motion throughout your body. A racing pulse, tightened muscles, flushed cheeks, or sudden warmth in the face often occur several seconds before the conscious mind recognizes anger, joy, fear, or embarrassment. This happens because emotional responses are fundamentally survival mechanisms designed by evolution to act quickly and automatically without waiting for slow deliberation. The subconscious reacts first, immediately mobilizing the body for action, while the conscious mind follows later, constructing a narrative and explanation for what is happening. This sequence explains why emotions can feel so difficult to control or manage. By the time you consciously notice them, they are already well underway, already influencing your body and behavior. Learning to recognize early physical cues and sensations can help, but emotions will always belong first to the subconscious realm. They are ancient, fast, and deeply rooted in survival instincts. Consciousness explains and interprets them after the fact, but it is always the hidden mind that authors emotional experiences in the very first place. Fact 79. Micro-dreams last. Only seconds. Even the briefest dips into sleep can spark dreams. These micro-dreams, lasting only a few seconds, occur when the brain slips momentarily into dream states during extreme fatigue or exhaustion. A tired student may see strange, surreal images while their eyes briefly close. A weary driver may drift into a brief, bizarre vision before startling back to alertness. These flashes are the subconscious seizing any opportunity it can to process imagery and emotion, even in tiny fragments of rest. Though short and fleeting, they reveal how powerful and persistent the drive to dream truly is. Microdreams can sometimes spark sudden creativity or highlight dangerous levels of exhaustion, warning the conscious mind that rest is desperately needed. They also show that dreaming is not confined strictly to long stretches of nighttime sleep. The subconscious is eager and ready to express itself whenever possible. Even in mere seconds, it rehearses, experiments, imagines, and explores, weaving images that vanish as quickly as they arrive, but proving unmistakably that the hidden mind never fully rests or stops working. Fact 80. Therapy can reprocess. Traumatic subconscious. Memories. Trauma often embeds itself in the subconscious mind, stored not as clear, coherent narratives, but as fragmented sensory impressions and raw, overwhelming emotions. This is why certain triggers can suddenly produce panic attacks or vivid flashbacks, even when the conscious mind knows rationally there is no present danger. Therapies like EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or guided imagery work by engaging the subconscious directly and carefully. They help the hidden mind reorganize traumatic memories, reducing their emotional intensity and filing them safely into the past where they belong. The therapeutic process does not erase traumatic events or pretend they never happened. Instead, it changes how they are experienced, stored, and recalled, loosening the subconscious grip that keeps them feeling immediate and threatening. Healing often requires this deeper access precisely because conscious reasoning alone cannot easily override the subconscious alarm systems that trauma activates. Subconscious therapy demonstrates that genuine transformation and recovery are possible only when the hidden mind is directly engaged, gently taught that the danger has passed, and allowed to finally release its protective vigilance. Fact 81. Repetition trains the subconscious. More than explanation. The subconscious does not respond best to logical arguments, detailed explanations, or intellectual understanding. Instead, it learns most effectively through rhythm, consistency, and repetition. Behaviors, phrases, thoughts, or actions practiced over and over are gradually absorbed until they become completely automatic. This is precisely how habits form. Whether they are beneficial or destructive, an athlete rehearsing movements thousands of times, a musician repeating scales endlessly, or a child learning words through constant exposure are all relying on the subconscious to encode patterns through sheer practice and repetition. Explanation can certainly provide useful understanding and context, but it does not fundamentally change behavior without accompanying repetition. The subconscious needs direct experience, not abstract theory. Every repeated action carves a deeper groove in the hidden mind, making it progressively easier to follow that pathway again. Over time, repetition builds not only skill and competence, but also identity itself, shaping the person you gradually become. It is the quiet, immutable law of the subconscious. Whatever you do often enough, it will learn, remember, and eventually carry out automatically without asking permission. Fact 82. Athletes program success. Through visualization, many elite athletes train not only their bodies but also their subconscious minds through deliberate visualization. Imagining a skill in vivid, precise detail activates many of the same brain circuits as actual physical practice. When a golfer vividly imagines the perfect swing, or a runner pictures crossing the finish line triumphantly, the subconscious treats these mental scenes as genuine rehearsal. Studies have consistently shown that athletes who combine physical training with regular mental imagery improve more quickly and perform better than those who train physically alone. The subconscious absorbs these imagined experiences, strengthening confidence, refining coordination, and improving accuracy. This shows how deeply and readily the subconscious responds to mental practice, turning vision into tangible performance. Athletes often describe feeling as though their bodies already know exactly what to do when the critical moment arrives, precisely because their subconscious has rehearsed it countless times in imagination. In this powerful way, visualization becomes a bridge between imagination and reality, programming the hidden mind for success before the actual challenge even begins. Fact 83. The subconscious reacts to metaphors as reality. Metaphors are not merely decorative figures of speech or literary devices. They reach deep into the subconscious as if they were literal physical truths. When someone speaks of carrying a heavy burden or describes a warm personality, the subconscious processes these words with surprising physicality. Experiments reveal that metaphors about weight can genuinely alter judgments of seriousness or importance. Metaphors about warmth can make people feel physically warmer or more trusting toward others. The subconscious does not sharply divide symbolic language from concrete reality. Instead, it blends them seamlessly, reacting emotionally, physically, and physiologically to words as if they described actual tangible experiences. This is precisely why stories, poetry, advertising, and persuasive language are so remarkably effective. They bypass logical analysis entirely and speak directly to the hidden mind in its native tongue. Metaphor is the natural language of the subconscious, a bridge between abstract idea and concrete sensation. Through metaphorical language, the subconscious responds not merely to meaning, but to imagery, atmosphere, and feeling, shaping lived experience as if words themselves were the physical world. Fact 84. Body language is decoded subconsciously. Most of what you understand from other people is never spoken aloud in words. Posture, gestures, facial expressions, tone of voice, and countless subtle movements all carry meaning, and the subconscious reads and interprets them instantly and automatically. A smile that genuinely reaches the eyes, a tightened jaw, crossed arms, or a slight lean forward are all interpreted before conscious thought can analyze what they might signify. This automatic decoding explains why you often simply know how someone is feeling, without being able to explain precisely how you know. The subconscious notices dozens of tiny details simultaneously and assembles them into coherent impressions of trust, openness, hostility, or threat. These signals guide social interactions smoothly, allowing you to respond with empathy, caution, or enthusiasm almost automatically. Consciousness constructs explanations afterward, but the hidden mind has already made its judgment and set your response in motion. Body language reveals how profoundly social life depends on subconscious intelligence, a silent translator constantly working beneath awareness, shaping connection and understanding in every single moment of human interaction. Fact 85. The subconscious predicts others' intentions. Human movements contain subtle clues about what will happen next, and the subconscious reads these clues automatically and continuously. A slight shift of weight, a flicker of the gaze toward a destination, or a tiny twitch of muscle often precede deliberate action by fractions of a second. The subconscious detects these signals invisibly, letting you anticipate what others are about to do before they actually do it. Athletes rely on this ability constantly, predicting opponents' moves almost before they occur, giving them crucial advantages in competition. But everyday life depends equally on this predictive capacity. Stepping aside smoothly before someone bumps into you, sensing when a friend is about to speak, catching something before it falls, all depend on subconscious prediction. Conscious awareness usually arrives afterward, constructing a logical story of what happened, but the subconscious has already acted, already responded. This predictive ability shows that the hidden mind is not merely reactive, passively responding to events after they occur. It is actively anticipatory, constantly preparing for the world's next step before you even consciously know what subtle cues you have observed. Fact 86. Group conformity is driven by subconscious pressure. Humans are fundamentally social creatures, and the subconscious constantly seeks belonging, acceptance, and connection within groups. This hidden desire leads people to adjust behavior, posture, opinions, and even beliefs to align with others around them. The process is often completely automatic and unconscious. Laughter spreads contagiously through groups. Postures mirror each other. Decisions gradually shift toward consensus without deliberate discussion. Experiments repeatedly reveal that people will often follow a group's opinion even when they consciously know it is clearly wrong, guided by powerful subconscious pressure to fit in and belong. This tendency can create beautiful unity and cooperation, but it can also drive conformity at the expense of individuality, truth, or independent thinking. The subconscious constantly weighs the social risk of standing apart and frequently chooses the perceived safety found in numbers and agreement. It is a quiet but incredibly powerful force shaping behavior, not through logical reasoning, but through the deep primal pull of togetherness embedded firmly in the hidden mind, reflecting millions of years of evolution in social groups. Fact 87. Laughter often begins as subconscious response. People laugh not only at clever jokes or funny situations, but also as an instinctive social signal and bonding mechanism. The subconscious triggers laughter in response to tone, rhythm, shared context, or group emotion, often before the conscious mind registers any clear reason for amusement. This is precisely why laughter is so contagious and spreads so rapidly. When others laugh, your subconscious automatically mirrors the sound and emotional state, joining in without deliberate decision. In groups, laughter serves as social glue, signaling safety, reinforcing bonds, and inviting deeper connection. It punctuates conversation naturally, easing tension and creating comfort. Sometimes people laugh even when nothing is objectively funny, because the subconscious is responding to social context and emotional atmosphere rather than humor itself. This reflexive laughter shows that the hidden mind values belonging and connection more than logical accuracy. The conscious mind may search for an explanation afterward, but laughter truly begins as the subconscious announcing wordlessly, "You are part of this moment. You are safe here. You are not alone." Fact 88. Subconscious fear influences political choices. Fear is one of the most powerful subconscious motivators, and it often shapes political decisions and opinions long before reasoned analysis can occur. Political messages that emphasize threats, instability, danger, or loss tap directly into these ancient circuits, influencing judgment at a level far deeper than conscious awareness. Even when voters sincerely believe they are making entirely rational, well-considered choices, their subconscious may already be leaning heavily towards safety, security, and protection. Campaigns, propaganda, and persuasive messaging exploit this instinct deliberately, knowing that fear bypasses logical reasoning and speaks directly to the hidden mind with extraordinary power. This is not always negative or manipulative. Appeals to protection and stability can genuinely unite communities and motivate positive action. But it shows clearly how political choices are often guided more by subconscious emotion than by conscious, deliberate thought. The ballot box in this sense becomes as much a reflection of hidden fears and anxieties as it is of reasoned debate, careful policy analysis, or intellectual consideration. Fact 89. Colours are designed to reach subconscious associations. Colours carry profound emotional weight, and the subconscious responds to them instantly and automatically. Red often signals urgency, excitement, passion, or danger. Blue conveys trust, calm, stability, or sadness. Green suggests growth, nature, health, or renewal. Advertisers, designers, and marketers carefully select colours for logos, packaging, websites, and environments specifically to trigger these deep associations, influencing perception and emotion before a single word is read or processed. Studies consistently show that people make snap judgments about products, brands, or spaces within mere seconds based largely on colour alone. These impressions form subconsciously, guiding preference, trust, and purchasing decisions. Even cultural variations in colour meaning are absorbed and stored by the hidden mind, which interprets hues through learned associations and experiences. Conscious thought may later provide rational explanations for choices and preferences, but the subconscious has often already been powerfully swayed. Advertising succeeds not only through clever slogans or logical arguments, but through silent conversations conducted with the subconscious in the universal primal language of colour. Fact 90. Background noise is filtered. Automatically. At any given moment, countless sounds reach your ears simultaneously. Footsteps, humming machines, distant voices, traffic, wind, music, all compete for attention. Yet you're not overwhelmed or confused because the subconscious filters this constant flood automatically and efficiently. It discards what seems unimportant or irrelevant, allowing conscious focus to rest on what truly matters. However, a sudden loud crash, your name spoken clearly, or a sharp change in tone is immediately promoted to full awareness. This sophisticated process allows you to carry on conversations easily in noisy environments, tune out monotonous background sounds, and remain constantly alert to potential danger. Without this filtering, consciousness would drown helplessly in sound. The subconscious acts as a vigilant gatekeeper, sorting the world continuously into silence and signal, background and foreground. It works invisibly and tirelessly, shaping perception into something manageable and meaningful, creating a sense of calm order amid surrounding chaos. Every moment of peace you experience in noisy surroundings is truly a gift from the hidden mind, quietly filtering life into exactly what you need to hear. Fact 91. The subconscious can wake you at a chosen time. Many people notice they wake naturally just moments before an alarm is scheduled to ring, as if a quiet inner clock sounded first. That internal clock is entirely real and functional. While you sleep deeply, the subconscious keeps accurate time through circadian rhythms, hormone cycles, body temperature changes, and subtle environmental cues. If you set a clear, firm intention before bed to wake at a specific hour, the hidden mind begins preparing in advance. Cortisol rises earlier than usual, body temperature shifts gradually, and the threshold for waking lightens progressively. The subconscious also learns and remembers patterns over time. When you consistently wake at the same hour across many mornings, it predicts the next occurrence and primes your system accordingly. This is why travelers sometimes still wake at their familiar home time, even in a completely new place with different time zones. The conscious mind drifts freely in dreams, but the subconscious monitors, counts, and keeps its silent promise faithfully. It is a beautiful reminder that sleep is not a total shutdown or absence. Even at night, the hidden steward of the body listens carefully for your instructions and quietly carries them out. Fact 92. Childhood trauma can resurface through dreams. Dreams often speak in the symbolic language of the subconscious, using images instead of arguments and metaphors instead of explanations. When early experiences were too intense, frightening, or overwhelming for a child's conscious mind to fully process, their echoes may persist as sensory fragments stored deep below awareness. Years or even decades later, they return in sleep as recurring symbols: a faceless figure, a hallway without exits, a door that refuses to open. The dream is not a courtroom delivering judgment. It is a rehearsal space where buried feelings finally move and seek expression. The subconscious selects metaphors that carry the emotional weight of the original memory, gently nudging the waking self to notice what has been buried and ignored. These dreams can be deeply unsettling and distressing, yet they are invitations rather than punishments. Therapies that honor and explore dream material help translate cryptic symbols into language the conscious mind can understand and integrate. Over time, with patience and care, the dreamscapes soften. The same mind that once protected you by hiding unbearable pain begins to heal you by bringing it gently into the light. Fact 93. Subconscious beliefs affect immune system. Strength. Your immune system listens carefully to your hidden expectations and beliefs. Hope, trust, and a credible sense of safety tell the subconscious to ease emergency signaling and devote resources to repair and maintenance. Hidden helplessness, by contrast, keeps stress chemistry chronically high and defensive systems dulled. Research on the placebo effect illustrates this beautifully. When someone genuinely expects improvement and healing, the brain releases chemical messengers that modulate immunity, reduce inflammation, and help the body recalibrate its defenses. The belief does not cure infections by itself, yet it sets a physiological stage where healing becomes significantly more efficient. Conversely, chronic unspoken fear keeps the body perpetually on alert, raising stress hormones that over time make immune defenses sluggish and less effective. This is not an invitation to blame yourself for illness or disease. It is an invitation to notice how deeply and constantly the mind and immune system converse. Rituals of care, trustworthy relationships, and genuinely soothing routines teach the subconscious that help is present and available. In response, the body acts less like a fortress under constant siege and more like a peaceful workshop calmly repairing what needs mending. Fact 94. Symmetry is noticed faster than conscious thought. Before you can consciously explain why a face seems balanced, a pattern feels pleasing, or a design looks right, your subconscious has already measured and evaluated it. Specialized visual circuits detect symmetry, axis, spacing, and mirroring at remarkable speed, delivering an immediate feeling of harmony that the conscious mind later translates into judgments of beauty or correctness. This swift detection likely evolved because symmetry can signal health in living creatures and stability in the physical environment. Artists and architects deliberately lean into this preference, arranging forms that the subconscious recognizes as orderly long before words or analysis arrive. Experiments show people can identify symmetry even when images are flashed too briefly to consciously describe, proving the hidden mind evaluates structure first and asks questions later. The sensation of "this fits" or "this feels right" is simply your subconscious reporting its findings in the briefest possible form. When symmetry is intentionally broken slightly, the effect can be even more engaging and interesting. The subconscious notices the underlying rule, feels the tension created by the exception, and invites the conscious mind to linger and look more carefully again. Fact 95. Unseen movements are sensed subconsciously. That subtle tingle suggesting someone has entered the room, the sudden urge to turn before footsteps appear in view, these are products of constant silent surveillance by the hidden mind. Peripheral vision continuously tracks motion and contrast at the edges of awareness, while tiny shifts in air pressure, sound waves and shadows are sampled and compared against a vast internal library of expectation. The conscious mind receives only the compressed summary, a vague feeling that something moved or changed. Long before language or civilization, such sensitivity kept ancestors alive among predators and uncertain terrain. Today, it helps you cross busy streets safely, navigate crowded spaces, and notice a cyclist rushing from the side. The system is deliberately tuned for speed over certainty, so it sometimes delivers false alarms and unnecessary alerts. But the cost of a quick glance is trivially small compared with the enormous benefit of catching real changes in time to respond. What feels like mysterious intuition is often simply surveillance data gathered constantly by the subconscious, compressed into a single wordless nudge directing attention. Look here now. Fact 96. Complex patterns are learned without awareness. You can absorb intricate rules and patterns you cannot consciously state or explain. Psychologists call this implicit learning, the acquisition of knowledge without awareness. After exposure to structured sequences or repeated patterns, people begin accurately predicting what comes next while insisting they are merely guessing randomly. The subconscious has been quietly tallying frequencies, spotting regularities, and storing them as tendencies rather than explicit textbook rules. This is precisely how children internalize complex grammar long before they can define it, how musicians anticipate chord progressions they never formally studied, and how experienced drivers read traffic flow without consciously calculating anything. The hidden mind excels at this because it samples information broadly and forgets slowly. It notices what repeats, weights what matters most, and smooths exceptions into practical expectations. Conscious study and deliberate practice can certainly help accelerate learning, but the deepest fluency arrives when the subconscious has had sufficient time to practice in peace. Then under pressure, knowledge surfaces effortlessly as ease. The right word appears naturally, the right note lands perfectly, the right move happens instinctively, and only afterward does the conscious mind construct a story about how it knew. Fact 97. Distractions are suppressed to protect. Focus attention is guarded carefully by an invisible gate you rarely notice. While you read, work, or concentrate, the subconscious actively dampens irrelevant sounds, dims peripheral movement, and lowers the salience of stray thoughts so focused tasks can continue without interruption. This suppression is not rigid or absolute. It flexes intelligently with context. A sudden change, a sharp clatter, or the whisper of your name is escalated immediately to full awareness when necessary. The hidden mind constantly negotiates this delicate balance, preserving concentration when it seems safe, and breaking focus when it becomes essential. With practice and consistent routines, the gate grows stronger and more reliable. Familiar workspaces, predictable cues, and established rituals teach the subconscious when to hold the line firmly. Conversely, chronic stress gradually loosens the gate, letting interruptions stream in uncontrollably. Recognizing this helps explain why a brief walk, a few deep breaths, or a minute of quiet can suddenly restore clarity. They reset the guardian. Focus is not only willpower or determination, it is also the skillful filtering performed by a vigilant, unseen partner working tirelessly on your behalf. Fact 98. Word choice is shaped subconsciously. Before a sentence reaches your lips and enters the world, the subconscious has already sifted through countless options with remarkable speed and efficiency. It samples context, considers audience, evaluates goals, and then nudges selection toward words that fit the situation. The right register appears without deliberation. Idioms surface naturally that suit the crowd. A softer synonym quietly displaces a potentially harsher one when diplomacy seems wise. This invisible machinery draws on enormous stores of accumulated memory. Conversations overheard throughout life, phrases read in books, tones absorbed from media, all contribute. The subconscious also listens carefully to the listener, updating word choices in real time based on micro-reactions observed. A raised eyebrow, a slight lean inward, a smile that reaches the eyes, all influence what you say next. You feel fluent and articulate because the hidden mind is drafting ahead of you constantly, editing for rhythm, clarity, and social appropriateness, while the conscious self simply tracks meaning and intent. Occasionally the process slips, and a stray word reveals more than intended, offering a glimpse behind the curtain. Most of the time, though, the collaboration holds seamlessly, a smooth flow crafted by systems working faster than awareness can possibly follow. Fact 99. Intuition reflects subconscious expertise. A firefighter suddenly calls for retreat from a burning room that seems fine to everyone else. A doctor orders an additional test without a clear textbook reason. A chess player senses a hidden trap in an apparently quiet position. These are not mystical leaps into the unknown. They are the outputs of vast, well-trained pattern libraries accumulated through years of experience. The subconscious has catalogued thousands of situations, outcomes, and tiny subtle cues. A slight change in heat distribution, a patient's unusual tone of voice, a pawn's seemingly innocent placement, then compressed all that rich knowledge into rapid felt judgments that arrive as intuition. The answer surfaces first, often with great confidence. The explanation follows later, sometimes haltingly. Because the process is largely tacit and non-verbal, it improves steadily with experience and honest feedback. The more the hidden mind observes and the more cleanly results confirm or correct its predictions, the more trustworthy its signals gradually become. Treat intuition like a skilled, experienced colleague. Listen carefully, verify when possible, and refine continuously. Over time, it will often prove to be the quiet voice that saves precious minutes or even a life. Fact 100. Hunger signals are decided subconsciously. Hunger is not merely a simple pang or empty feeling. It is a carefully composed message created by systems operating far below awareness. The hypothalamus integrates blood sugar levels, gut hormones, stomach stretch receptors, and learned timing habits, then crafts an urge precisely calibrated to keep you properly nourished and energized. The subconscious also responds powerfully to learned environmental cues. The hour of a usual meal, the enticing scent of food drifting past, the sight of a favorite restaurant, all can trigger hunger even when energy stores remain entirely adequate. Stress and sleep loss shift these delicate signals unpredictably, altering sensitivity so the body asks for quick energy more frequently than truly needed. You experience only a desire, but the subconscious has already weighed and evaluated dozens of variables before sending that signal upward. Understanding this can make self-care significantly kinder and more effective. Regular meals, satisfying nutrients, and steady, predictable routines teach the subconscious that food is reliably available. Then hunger arrives as a helpful, gentle reminder rather than a noisy, urgent alarm, and the ongoing conversation between body and mind becomes substantially easier to hear, understand, and honor with compassion.